What's up, people? It's your man DS the Informed, and I just want to drop a quick gem, in your ear real quick. Uh, Last night, my manager at my job, myself, and another guy, we started having a conversation about slavery, and it was interesting because the idea of slavery that we spoke about wasn't one that you learned in history class. It wasn't the field picking slavery that we get, even though if you know your history, you know that it wasn't just in the fields picking cotton. There was a lot to it. But anyway, my manager kind of threw things out there, and it was real cool because he was like, they have people out here killing themselves. The way that this economy has been put together, you have people killing themselves trying to make a basic living. You know, um, the rise in food prices, the slow rise in minimum wage, and rise in gas, and everything that your light bills are going up. Everything, the price on everything is going up, but you're not getting paid more. So you're having to work two jobs. You have three people, four people living together, and everybody's working two jobs to make ends meet and to make lives a little easier, put a little cushion in your life. And it's ridiculous. So with that, we now have this illusion of freedom because we've come to associate slavery with the old days, the whole African slavery thing, the mistreatment of black people. And now it's become something so great that it's way beyond that. And what I find interesting is that the guy that works for me, the guy that's like the employee with me, is a white guy. My manager is a black guy, and of course I'm a black guy. Even in black and white, you can see how dark I am. So it's interesting to have this group, and my manager is in his 40s, maybe close to 50, maybe. So you have this, and the guy I work with, he's still in high school. So you see a generational situation that's different. So I started thinking, and I was like, this idea of slavery is crazy, but why don't people see it? And then it hit me. We don't get it because, like I said, we've come to identify the idea of slavery with the old ways of slavery. And two, we've come to, we were taught to identify with the slave. When they teach history, we identify with the slave and not the master. Why is this important? Well, consider this. If you're watching a movie and you're watching the movie from the point of view of an individual who is being treated wrongly, beat on, smacked around, and everything like that, you're kind of taking it from their perspective. You kind of want the bad guy to get hurt. So then when a person comes out of it, it feels great. Yes, triumph, triumph. But you don't see too many movies where you watch it from the other end, where you're the individual doing the killing, doing the beating, doing the raping. They don't have too many movies or many books or anything that you're going to come across that takes it from that point of view. Why? Because they don't want to provoke a feeling of you being dominant and in control. We're taught to empathize and sympathize and take the point of view of the slave. That way, when the slave comes out of slavery, we feel triumphant. But never do we ever see the ways that the masters enable themselves and position themselves to continue to enslave those who were once slaves. But technically, they weren't once slaves; they're still slaves. And that's what struck me. I found it interesting. And to even to put it more into perspective, as a person, let's say you own a dog. You get a dog, you get like an acre of land, a huge amount of land, and you fence it in. Let's say you fence in a yard, and 10,000 square feet. We're talking huge yard. maybe, somewhere in there. You pick a size, pick a nice size. Now you fence it in. Okay? Take the dog, put a stake in the ground, chain the dog up. 2 feet of chain. 2 feet of give from after you wrapped it around and connected it to the collar. You have 2 feet. Dog's not gonna be content for long. That's slavery. That's how slavery initially was from the jump. Like, brought them over here, put them in a plantation. Okay. Dog gonna start trying to get away. Don't want that to happen. So you slack the chain a little bit to about 6 feet. 6 to 8 feet. It's a little give. Dog's a little more comfortable, but you can still tell he's not happy. That's the latter part of slavery. Where you become comfortable with being captive. But you still don't like slavery, it's just bullshit. Slack it up some more, let's say 20 feet. 20, 25 feet of chain. Now you can move around. See, this right here is after emancipation. This is between the Emancipation Proclamation and then the Civil Rights Movement in the 60s. That 100-year period. This is what this is. And I'm doing this in the form of the African American perspective because we were the ones that, as far as this country is concerned, were the enslaved individuals. And this is what they really, this is when they teach American history. This is what you're going to get. So I'm utilizing this, not just because I'm black, but it does pertain to me. It relates to me. Now, you have this chain, but you're still not happy. Start yanking it because you realize you have all this yard, you have all this room. All of this room, this freedom. And it's like, dang, I still haven't been able to really partake in the whole yard. So the master comes out, pops the chain off, you're free to roam within the yard. But that's the trick. The trick is, to get you gotcha, is the fact that you're still running around in a fenced-in environment, which means you're not truly free. You just have more freedom than you had before. It's like the 2 feet of chain. It gave you 8 feet, 8 to 10 feet, 6 to 8 feet. Then it gave you 20 feet. Then they gave you a yard to run around in. So it looks better. And for some, it's enough. Because for some, especially now, I tell people, aesthetically speaking, meaning the looks of it, how it looks, what it looks like it functions like, it looks like we've come a long way. Under the cover of it, what's really going on, we haven't made much of a difference, a stride at all. It just looks that way. Because studying and reading and listening to Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson, please feel free, please type his name up in the search box after you watch this and watch his stuff. He's a psychologist, Pan-Africanist, great man, great speaker. The knowledge he gives off is amazing. But he talked about the fact that black people at one point owned only like 0.5% of the economic wealth, the economic wealth in this country today. And this is probably a couple of years ago when this video was put up, but still today we still only own 0.5% of the economic wealth, even with all the rich people, with Oprah being a billionaire, Tiger being a billionaire, even though he kind of don't claim being black. The billionaires that we have, we still, as far as economic wealth goes, we got a bunch of rich people, but we still don't own anything. And once you take the chains off, where is slavery consisted? In the mind. As black people, and now even more so as humans in this country, we've been so physically and mentally confined for so long that any amount of air that we can get, we're satisfied with it. We're just happy that we are even freaking making it. Oh my God, they took the chains off. I don't have to work in the fields no more. You can't beat me on my back no more. It says that you can't separate me by race anymore. It says that because I'm a woman, that you can't discriminate against me for that anymore. Because I'm a man, you can't discriminate against me that anymore. All these things that say that they can't do, but then they find different ways to do it. Consider this. This is just for people who didn't catch it. Black children can't go to school with white children. Segregation. Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896. Court case. Separate but equal. Constitutional. Brown versus the Board, 1950s. Unconstitutional. When they did that, you know what comes next? You get IQ tests, which was used in the Holocaust during World War II. And some other things, some other spots as well. But what you get now is, since most black kids have a poor education because the educational system was garbage for black children, we can't separate you by race anymore. That's illegal. But what we can do is administer a set of tests that allow us to segregate you by intelligence. And white trash and black children were poorly educated. Therefore, we're no longer separating you by race, even though race would be the main reason we even give you this test in the first place. We can't separate you by race, but we can say that you're mentally handicapped. You're not smart enough to go to this school, so we're going to put you over here. But this mental slavery, this idea that we are free, that we've come somewhere and come so far, is an illusion. Because again, aesthetically on top, it looks great. It looks like we've done a lot. We finally get to run around in the yard. But in reality, we're still enslaved because we're still stuck in the yard. We're not allowed to really be free and do us and what we want to do. And even more so, if you go back to the dog comparison, while the dog is still running around in the yard, the owner, me or you, to make you feel a little more superior to the dog, is in the house with the controlled climate. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to fight off the flies, and you don't have to fight the heat or the cold or the rain or anything like that. Even though you might have a dog house out back, it doesn't compare to your insulated house. The running water, all these things, these accommodations that the master get, that the big boys get, that we don't get because we're so busy being infatuated with the fact that we're able to run around in an enclosed area. Because they took the chains off and we're mentally enslaved here. Remember to check out that Umar Abdullah Johnson. Remember to look him up. Look up any and everybody. Really get your study on. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Puerto Rican. I don't care. I don't care. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you're watching this, share it with people and let the truth be known. It has to get out. We have to let people know what's really going on. We have to see that though we might feel like we're free, we're still enslaved. And the powers of control have us caught into an eye where we're caught in this eye where we think we see what's going on. We think we know, but in reality, we have no idea. Free your mind. And the change would never mean a thing. With that, I'm out. Y'all have a great and blessed weekend. If you're watching this in the next couple of days. If not, have a blessed week. Have a blessed life. Love your kids and your mother and everything like that. And at the end of the day, obey yourself. I'm DSD Informed, and I'm out. Peace.